Hi everyone, I'm Mispa. Welcome back to another video. I've not made a video for a couple of weeks. I just decided to have a rest and a break from social media and not think about YouTube for a couple of weeks. But I've come back and I'm ready to make some more videos. So I thought I would start this week's video by sharing with you my calendar. I have a calendar every year, and I usually get one that shows artwork with women reading, but I couldn't find one like that this year. So I've gone for something different, and this shows artwork from an artist called Susie Soudain, and she makes her pictures by lino printing. So she takes a piece of lino, cuts her design into it, adds the ink, and then prints. And then she cuts the second part of the design, adds a different colour, and then prints that on top. So this is a really time-consuming, really laborious process, but her artwork is very beautiful. So I'll just go through the calendar with you. So we start first of all with, that's the January scene there, and then you can see the wintry scene for February. This is the March picture, which was on the cover, and the little pops of yellow makes you think that spring is coming. And then I particularly like June as well, so some really pretty flowers there against the green birds. And that's July, and then I liked one of the autumnal ones as well. Let's see if I can find that one. This one here has all the rich autumnal colours there, and then we've got a wintry one again for December. So I keep my house very minimalistic, and the walls are plain, so you can actually add a splash of colour and then that just cheers you up. So I'll enjoy using that. The way that I use a calendar is that if I have an appointment, I'll get the appointment card and I'll take a photograph of it with my phone. And then I will check my phone and then write the appointment onto the calendar. So I try to keep a double system. So I have it on my phone, but I also have a visual reminder up on the wall so I can see what I've got happening that week. And if I'm out with a friend and we make an arrangement, then I usually send a message to myself on my phone. And then when I come home, I check the message and write it onto the calendar there. So this means that I don't have to store bits of paper, and I'm not writing things down and putting them on bits of paper around the house and losing them. It's just organised, it's on the actual calendar, and it's easy to keep track of what you're doing. In the second part of my video today, I thought I'd share a recipe for a little vitamin shot. It's going to have ginger, which is anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant. And then you can also add honey to add the sweetness, and that will soothe your throat if you have a sore throat or a cold. And you can also add orange or lemon juice for vitamin C. And I make it warm that way, and then I have a colder version where I add coconut water to the ginger, and that's like a little cold shot that you can have. I've noticed that in the supermarkets these little shots are becoming very popular, and they can be quite expensive to buy. So I thought I'd share a homemade recipe with you. For my hot drink, I start by peeling a piece of ginger. It's about the size of your thumb. I use a teaspoon because there's less wastage than peeling with a knife. Add a cup of water to the saucepan. Add thinly sliced pieces of ginger. Simmer for about 10 minutes. While it's simmering gently, you can extract the juice of a lemon. Add this to the ginger water and then strain using a sieve. Let it cool down. When it's ready to drink, sweeten to your taste using honey. This drink is really warming and soothing if you have a cold or a sore throat. So my second drink is a zingy power shot that you can drink in the morning. I start by adding the pieces of an orange and the juice into my small mixer. I then add a thumb size of peeled and chopped ginger. I sweeten the drink by using coconut water. Half a cup works for me. You blend for about 10 seconds. And then again, I strain the mixture. And this usually makes about 4 shots. Here's a small shot that you drink in the morning. Delicious. So it's been a couple of days since I made the first part of the video, and I thought now I would share with you a book review for a book that I've read this week. It was given to me by a friend, and it's not a book I would have picked up myself, but I'm glad that she gave it to me, and I've really enjoyed reading it. It's called Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and it's by a Japanese author called Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And basically, he wrote the book as a play for the stage, and it was in 4 parts. All the action takes place in a small, quirky little cafe, which is off the side street of Tokyo. And there is a legend associated with the cafe that if you sit in a certain seat, then just for a short time, you can time travel. And so you can go back in time and have a conversation with somebody, or you can go and meet someone in the future. But there are certain rules associated with this time travel. And one of the rules is that you have to stay in your seat, and then you have to drink a cup of coffee, and you only have the amount of time it takes before the coffee goes cold. You have to drink the whole coffee before it gets too cold. And so you have a very limited time. But when you go back and you have these encounters, when you come back to the future, you come back to the present, you won't find that anything is different. So if someone has died and you go back and meet them, when you come back, they're still dead. You've just had a chance to say goodbye and have closure. It starts with the first story is a young woman who has come to the coffee shop thinking that her boyfriend is going to propose there, but instead he breaks up with her and says that he's going to America. She's then very unhappy and she keeps returning to the coffee shop, and she's the first person who decides that she wants to go back to a week earlier and have the encounter again with her boyfriend. She understands that when she comes back, he'll still have gone to America, they'll still be apart, but there are things that she wants to say to him. And so that's the first story, and it's quite a poignant, sad story. But then the next one is even more tragic. It's a married couple, an elderly married couple, and the man has Alzheimer's. And he wants to go back and have a meeting with his wife and give her a letter. And he's desperate to do this before he totally forgets who she is and he loses all his memory. And then the third story is about 2 sisters. One of them has died, and the 2 sisters were estranged. And the one who's alive wants to go back and she wants to make her peace with her sister. So even though she knows that in present day the sister will still be dead when she returns, she will have some sort of closure. And what I liked about this was the fact that Yes, meeting someone from the past doesn't change what's happened, but it actually changes how you feel inside. And it means that you have some sort of resolution and some closure, and then you're able to deal with the past and you can then move forward with your life. And then the very last story is slightly different. A young mother who is pregnant, she wants to go into the future and meet her unborn child because she's been told by the doctors that she's not going to live very long. And she wants to go into the future and speak to her child. And this story is really heartbreaking. And I read this book thinking I was going to read a quirky tale about time travel, about a ghost, and it was going to be an interesting read. But I was I had tears streaming down my face and I was just sobbing at the very last story. So I loved this book. It was very poignant, very sweet. It's called Before the Coffee Gets Cold. So now I'm going to finish my video and I'm going to share with you a walk that I did in a park in Altrincham, which is open to the public, and it's called Denzel Gardens. It has a stately home with the grounds around it, and the stately home is now used as offices, so unfortunately you can't go in, but you can see the house from the outside. It's a magnificent building. Winston Churchill stayed there when he visited Manchester, so there is some history attached to the house. The gardens are looked after by volunteers, so they come and they're always busy there cleaning the pond and tending to and restoring and tending to the gardens. There's a map so that you can actually walk around and see all the different trees that are there and the different varieties. It was a beautiful crisp winter's day when I went, so I did some filming and I've shared that with you. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video and I'll see you next time.